Laurie, how would you like to play Three Question Thursday?
I would love to.
That's awesome. Three Question Thursday. Everybody wins, and we don't know what the questions will be, including me. But
Okay.
here we go. I am wondering about ricotta.
Okay.
You know, tonight I made your casserole, lasagna. And so
You
I
did?
had, yeah, it was so great. And it's a whole big container of ricotta. And
Yeah.
unless I use it all up on some more of those, what else could I do with it?
Okay,
What
awesome.
is ricotta? Why did you use ricotta? I'm just curious about the whole thing.
Okay. So I had never eaten ricotta in my life before I saw it on the list of proteins, but I saw it on the list and I thought, whoa, we can have yes, it's a protein, but it's also a fat. And I noticed that we could have 2 ounces of ricotta as a fat. And I noticed that we could only have like a tablespoon of, let's say, mayo or something as a fat. And I was like, no, I don't think that's enough mayo for me. So ricotta, I thought has like, I bought some and I was experimenting with it. And what I noticed was that it has a creamy consistency and it's very mild in flavor and it actually takes on any other flavors you put with it. And it's got a creaminess. And so because I was after quantities and texture, I didn't care that a spoonful of ricotta by itself might taste weird. That's not the goal. The goal for me is to use it like a vehicle to carry other flavors. And so, and to stretch something and make it creamier. So the ways you could use ricotta, I use it in my overnight oats. So as like a half protein. So I have a cherry almond overnight oats that tastes exactly like my favorite ice cream flavor. Like it seriously does. It tastes like dark cherry ice cream, but it's ricotta, frozen cherries, and oats and almond extract. It's amazing.
Really? So
And
this
then
is something, so what would be the quantities of that? So if you
so it's
paired it
half
for,
it's half protein. Oh, and there's real almonds in there too. It's half protein of ricotta. So the protein is half protein of ricotta is 2 ounces. Half protein of almonds. And the almonds, I use like slivered almonds. The almonds, half protein would be half 1 ounce, 1 ounce of almonds, and then 6 ounces of frozen cherries. And I use like kitchen scissors and cut them up in like half them or quarter them. And then 1 ounce of dry oats. And because the cherries are frozen, they're going to melt, which is going to provide more liquid. And the ricotta is going to absorb the flavors of the cherries and it's going to soak into the oats, which is going to make it this like amazing yumminess.
man, that sounds too good.
And then that goes in a container in the fridge overnight. And so that's another example. You have a huge tub of ricotta you have to use up. If you went and made like 3 overnight oats of cherry almond with your ricotta, and 3 overnight oats of the pineapple pecan overnight oats, you'd use up your container of ricotta and you'd have 6 breakfasts waiting for you. And they last an entire week in the fridge. I've never tried freezing those, but I have made 5 overnight oats and had one every single morning. And by the last day of the week, it was just as good as the first day. So.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's just with one food item that you hadn't even used before.
Right. Actually, a lot of these ingredients I had never eaten before, but I'm looking at the list and I'm going, ooh, that's a nice big serving. What could I make with that?
So how do you know like which seasonings and everything? Because I looked at some of your dinner and your lunch ideas, and you
Mm-hmm.
just like throw some seasonings out. Did you
Yeah.
just like always use the same ones, or is there any magic
No,
to that?
there is a little weirdness to it, to my magic, I guess, is I know we couldn't do the bites, licks, taste. And so I used the next best sense, which is smell. And so I would go to my spice cabinet and sniff my spices, and you can get tons of information by smelling your spices. And so, like if I wanted to figure out, let's say I'm going to have a plate of dinner that has some random vegetables and some meat, and I'm not sure how I should season that. If you just go to your spice cabinet and smell some of your spices, you'd be amazed at like for example, smoked paprika. I've never smelled my spices before this way of eating. I would just sprinkle it on and then taste it to see if I liked it, but I can't do that. So sniff the smoked paprika and it's like, oh, it's kind of sweet. It's kind of sweet and like kind of complex and like, ooh, it smells like it could be good on this. So I don't know if that's a helpful tip, but that's what I do.
That's cool. Okay, I gotta ask you about bones. You gave me a picture of your Halloween costume,
Yeah.
but it was more than just a costume.
Yeah.
What was that? What was
So,
that about?
oh, I'm glad you asked me that because as I was losing weight, I started to be able to like feel my skeleton. Like it's not because I've lost so much weight that I'm skin and bones. It's just that I had never really been able to feel my bones. It felt like it was 15 years since I had felt my bones. I mean, I was like fascinated that I have like a skeleton under here. And like, what are these? Like, I think that's my pelvis. And like, oh my God, I wonder what that is. And it was just, it sounds strange maybe, but I was just fascinated by it. And so it started to get closer to like Halloween time, and I was scrolling my phone one night and I saw this Halloween costume of this like bodysuit with a skeleton printed on it. And I was like, oh, hey, I'm going to order one of those. So I ordered a size small and I wanted to just put it on so I could actually see what my bones did when I moved. So that skeleton picture that I have is just because it was so amazing to me to be able to recognize that all that time, that poor skeleton was buried under all those layers and layers of excess weight that I was carrying, and it was like that form, that shape of my body has been here all along, but I had no idea. I had no idea.
And now you've given it a chance to do what it's supposed to do, move
And
freely
yeah,
and move you around. And boy,
yeah,
what a blessing. It is a miracle, isn't it?
it is. Yeah.
Oh, well, Laurie, thank you so much for being on Starting Out Bright. And thank you for playing 3-Question Thursday. It's been
Thank you for
fun.
having me. Thanks for doing this for everybody, Noreen. That's
You're
amazing.
welcome. It's been my pleasure. So thanks, everybody. Good night. Stay bright.